why buy the new one? Guess who wins? The answer may be obvious to a lot of you. Who's going to win? The champion versus the 1165V. This is only 7 tons of force, where the champion, you see over there, 27 tons. I still think this is an amazing machine for the money. Let me know in the comments who's going to win. And welcome back, Fire Addicts, to another episode of Travis Does Firewood. And today we're going to be racing the new splitter versus the old one. So I got a comment the other day on why I bought the 1165V. I already have a splitter. It's over there. I've had that for several years, and it's done me good. It's made me a lot of money. So why buy the new one? The answer may be obvious to a lot of you, and I don't want to like poke fun, but I want to put this bad boy to the test and see how fast it is compared to the champion, the big box splitter. Okay, so to do that, I'm even gonna add. I'm even gonna use the log lift. Okay, because I am that confident in the mini beast here, the red mini beast. That's what she's gonna be called, the red mini beast. So in order to have a, sorry, my yard's just full of wood right now. It would have been good to have the splitters like side by side, but I'm just gonna, I'll use the champion way over there, then I'll move over here. It's fine. But anyway, to make an even test, make sure that it is as even as possible, the pieces of wood that we're gonna be splitting, they have to be the same size. That should be a no-brainer. So I found these two pieces here. I believe they're from the same round, split in half. You see this line right here. It perfectly matches up. The edge here matches up to that edge there. These are the same size right here. This is maple. Okay, it's a little harder than for hardwood, or I'm going to call it a hardwood. I got some maple in my yard. I need to split it up as soon as possible because I need to get it drying for my own stash for the fall. So, without further ado, we're going to fire up the champion. We're going to throw on this maple. We're going to split it. We're going to split it into even pieces. Let's see here. Let's go with, so one thing for the pieces to be the same size, but we need to make sure that the splits are going to be even. So the amount of splits that we'll be making on the piece of wood, because if I split 5 on the champion versus 10 on the red mini beast, it's not even. So let's keep it as consistent as possible. So let's see on here. Let's draw. Ready? Let's draw here. So let's maybe 1, maybe 2, 3, 4. I think that's pretty good. I don't know. Maybe let's not draw. Maybe it's not a good idea. Let's see how small the pieces can get on the champion, and then we'll count those up, and then we'll split the same amount on the red mini beast. How's that sound? Without having to be too scientific, too crazy, without too confusing. We're gonna get it done. Let's do it. Okay. So without any commentary yet, oh, you didn't do that right, Travis. Well, I was trying to do as close as possible. Okay, so bear with me. I'm not a scientist by trade. Okay, so this is an experiment, but it is what it is. So you see in the distance the champion. Per my count, she produced 22 pieces of wood, and they're pretty much uniform. Hey, I I make smaller splits because I want things to dry fast. The type of wood that I produce, the smaller splits are good to go. Now I was up against the clock. I wanted to make sure that I gave a fair trial advantage to both machines, both the champion and the 1165V. So I was in a rush, but I don't think in no more rush than I usually am. But I don't want to rush to the point where it's unsafe. Okay. Now I split how I normally split with the champion, and I pretty much dialed in my opinion, how to make sure that that machine is as efficient as possible based on what it is. It's a big box splitter. It's the bottom of the barrel. It works, but it's not great because it's not fast. The cycle time is slow. There are slower ones, and obviously there are faster ones. But I think for the money, that thing does pretty darn good. Now, I don't know what the time is. I'll put it up on the screen so you can see. But I'm pretty sure that even with how slow slash fast the champion was, I'm pretty sure that the 1165V beat the time of the champion. Granted, for my count, the Red Mini Beast produced 26 pieces versus the 22, and I was counting in that how one piece fell off the table and I had to go around and retrieve it and bring it back. Now, granted, this is gonna be faster up and down. Now, as you may have seen, I took off the limiter on here as well as up here. I took it off. I did it off camera, and Splitfire made a really good episode on how to put it on. And I asked you just do it in backwards, in reverse. I'll leave a link up here if you have one or if you're interested. It kicked butt, and obviously you need to safe because your hands need to be off the side, out of the way, because this thing is so fast. There's less time to think versus the slow pace of the champion. That much should be obvious. So, without knowing the time, I'm pretty confident that the Splitfire is faster. As well as with all the add-ons, I can be even more efficient, saving my time and body. I have the knee tapper. See that down here? Here, I fixed it. That's more efficient where I can have both my hands to be on the wood versus having my hand be up here on the lever. That's efficient. I had the log lift. That saves time, saves my body to get the wood from the ground on the table. I have the extended table right here that I got with it, so I can have more area space to store wood. Bigger round. I have a round split in half, but off the side I can split it. Now, the downfall of what you saw, and you may have noticed this, I went down the middle of the same maple chunk, half, on the champion, split it, no problem, no issue. I tried to do down the half with the 1165V, it stalled. It didn't want to do it. It was a harder wood. This is only 7 tons of force, whereas the champion, you see over there, 27 tons. So that's in theory 20 tons more force comparison. So that may be the downfall, and that be the downfall not of Splitfire, but of this machine, because it's a mini version of what you could upgrade to that you would see perhaps potentially at Wolf Ridge or Eastern Maine. Those vertical splitters are massive. They're huge. They're also 2 to 3 times the amount of money that I spent on this one here. So I guess one of the drawbacks of the Red Mini Beast is the tonnage, the force of power behind the split that wood. That's one reason why I'm keeping the champion, and I may get into that in a future episode, because some of the wood that I split, this machine can't do. It can't do it, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that it is what it is. There's work and wood that this machine can do, and the wood that it can't do, I'll save, put in a pile, and split it up with the champion. So I say that because I'm not complaining. I knew what I was getting myself into, and I paid for that. If I had the several more thousands of dollars, I would have gone with a bigger machine. But I didn't have it, and time was not on my side, so I jumped on this. I still think this is an amazing machine for the money, but it may not be able to split the gnarly rounds, the hardwood. Not saying that maple is hard, just I think that part was the lower trunk of the wood, and it's very dense grain, very dense here. So no fault of Flipfire, no fault of the machine. It is what it is. So that's the comparison. Champion versus the 1165V. Guess who wins? Well, for sure, I don't know the times. I'll put them on the screen, but I'm pretty sure it was the Red Mini Beast. So I hope the demonstration was helpful, insightful, entertaining, rock and roll. That's interesting. For those of you who are interested, that would be the comparison versus your big box splitter, or if you're on the cusp of wanting to buy a big box, but if you spend a few more $1,000, upgrade to this. That's the speed comparison. Now, granted, if this was bare bones, it's going to be a little over $2,000. You don't need the table, the other bells and whistles. That would be just a few, like $1,000 more than a big box splitter, or the same price as one of those upgraded big bore splitters, the army green ones. Those are still pretty good machines. I'm not knocking those at all as well. Those are good machines too. So anyway, just a small comparison. Hope it made sense. Still love the machine. I need to get back at it before it gets too hot outside. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Remember, life's too short to be a prick, so be kind to one another. Rock and roll. Stay safe, keep cutting. Cheers.